Hey everyone, welcome back to the b8ta TV studio. I'm your host Noelle, coming to you live from San Francisco. It is Wednesday, and to kick off the day, we've got an awesome episode of b8ta Insider for you guys. Today we're going to be talking with Tina Whitfield, who is the Chief Growth Officer over at Senstone. Now, you watched me demo the Senstone in a b8ta Unboxed episode last week. Tina's going to tell us more about the story, about how the company was started. It is fascinating. And just as a reminder, this is the world's first smart voice recording wearable. Yes, that's right. It's actually a wearable piece of tech, and it is also a note-taking assistant. Super cool. I'm going to tell you guys also why I love it so much. I can't wait to get into the conversation. So let's bring in Tina now. She joins us from the Bay Area. Good morning, Tina. How are you?
I am fine. And Noelle, thank you so very much for inviting us to participate in b8ta TV. We love b8ta, so thank you.
Thank you. The feeling is mutual. We love Senstone. So Tina, to kind of kick off our conversation, I would love to know what inspired Senstone CEO Nazar to create the Senstone.
Well, he's a lawyer, and early on in his career, he was walking in the park with a friend wondering, I am going between meeting to meeting, visiting clients, and I never have enough time to capture notes precisely to ensure that I'm serving my clients well. And then a few years later, he was a PhD student at Oxford University, and he realized it was more than just capturing the notes. It was also capturing the sentiments around those notes. So that was the first sort of wave. And then what happened next was that he started thinking, how do I realize this? How do I commercialize it? And he started talking with a great team of engineers and designers, and here we are.
Amazing. And what is sort of the game-changing value of the Senstone?
I've been in the wireless and the wearables industry for a very long time. And I've done my research, and it's all come down to the customer. The customer is the game changer. Customers want things now. They want things faster. If we're talking about speech, which the Senstone is about, I look at old movies. I tend to love to watch black and white movies, and everyone talks slower. And these days we talk faster. And the reason we do is to keep up with our life in motion. So out came the microwave, right? We have the smartphone, the Fitbit. We have everything you can imagine to help us live that life on the go. So here we have the Senstone. It's as easy as all of that to use, and it keeps up with us. How many technologies actually keep up with the way we live and actually make our lives more fun?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to talk a little bit about sort of the app pairing that goes along with the Senstone, which is just brilliant technology. And the speed at which you're able to speak into the Senstone and then have, an accurate transcription available on your smartphone is incredible. It's a time saver. It's so convenient. I love it so much, as you can tell. I would love to know a little bit more about the features of the Senstone for customers.
Yeah, so what's really great about the Senstone, I am actually wearing both kinds. So this is the pendant. It's sort of my choice to wear it. And then this is the clip-on. A lot of guys like to wear this, but I also find that depending on how you want and what your style is, what's flexible, I know a lot of skateboarders tend to wear this, and they tend to go down, flying down Santa Monica beaches, and they just sort of are grooving to the music, and they're recording their songs while they're skateboarding. Some of the features are that what you have here is a device that is water resistant. So I can take it paddleboarding. I can take it skiing in the snow, right? It's also drop resistant. It's dust resistant. If you want to take it to the desert for those camping trips, you can do that as well. If you want to take it in the backyard gardening, you can do it as well. And it's really small and ergonomic, right? And one device, which I will take off, you can remove this clip on the back, and then you can place it on the pendant. So you can wear one Senstone multiple ways. It also has an easy charger, which I'm going to grab right here. So at night, you just float this on and you put it on this easy charger. You can keep this by your bed. So at night when you're sort of like, oh, I want to capture that dream or I have that amazing thing I want to talk to my team about tomorrow morning, the Senstone's right there. You don't have to get up, fiddle with a pencil and paper, and then hopefully read what you wrote in the morning. So that's kind of some cool features about the device. The app features you're going to go into, and I know you have an incredible product demo to talk about, but I have to say that what makes the app features so wonderful is right now we're in English and Japanese with 12 languages to come. And as you can imagine, it also understands Spanish. Just because it's a Latin base, it understands some French. So we get customers from all over the world buying it. And now we're launching in the US and we're launching exclusively through b8ta.
Amazing. Yeah, I was going to say I've used it in Spanish to send my grandmother, who's 92 years old, and she knows how to use a smartphone, but I love sending her, little love notes in Spanish. So it's amazing just how accurate the transcription is, both in English and in Spanish. I also love, when you mention skateboarders, I was thinking of surfers being able to use this because, like you said, it's water resistant. So you can really kind of take it anywhere. And we talked a little bit about the app pairing, but you can also use this, like you said, it's kind of if you're in the water or on a hike off the beaten trail, even if you don't have, even if you're offline and unplugged, and it's great to use this when you're unplugged, you can really take it anywhere.
I know, and you know what? These days, we have a work-life balance. Sometimes what we're thinking about work comes into when we're playing, and so having something like this where you can go ahead and capture everything, then pair it with the Notes app, and then from there, you can instantly share your ideas with your team. Now, you can go in, and if you want to add additional flavor to those notes, you can go ahead and do that. If you remember something extra, you can go ahead and augment or add to those notes through the app. And then again, you can share it with your teammates. Get this, you can also share it on Facebook and social media. You can share it to Instagram. You can share it to TikTok, wherever you want to. You can share what you're thinking and what your ideas are. And for me, I'm someone who has these brilliant ideas, and then I'm on to my next thing, and I forget just what I was about to say. And I think that's the unique difference with this. There is 2 steps to capturing ideas. If I were to use my phone, which I love my smartphone, but I have to open up the password, then I have to find the app, download the app from the cloud, then click on the recorder, and then I can start recording. And at that time, I might forget my intention. So I think this device is really great for people who are intentional.
Absolutely. I also really love that, first thing in the morning, when you want to create a to-do list and you've got all these, different things running through your mind of what you need to accomplish for that day, you can actually talk into the Senstone and give it verbal commands, and it will create a to-do list and a reminder list for you, which is just like, Tina, it makes your life so much easier.
Oh my gosh. And here's some practical, amazing uses in the morning for me. So I would work in San Francisco. So for where I'm located in the Bay Area, I would need to take the Bay Area Rapid Transit System. I would go and park. Now, parking at 6 or 7 in the morning, I don't always remember my parking space number. And coming home at 8 or 9, it's already dark. I just have my coffee in one hand. I have my computer briefcase in the other. I tap my Senstone. I tap what parking space I have in. Then I jump on the Bay Area Rapid Transit System. And as you know, when we go on public transportation, Wi-Fi it's kind of spotty. So the very fact that I have a Senstone, I can keep capturing my ideas. I don't have to rely on being entrenched with back-to-back people, trying to open up my phone, trying to open up maybe my tablet or my computer. I can immediately just start working using my Senstone and get to work, and I am already productive.
Absolutely. I know there have been so many moments, that I've just found this has come, it's so handy. And there are times, like years ago when I was studying abroad, I mean, I wish I had had this with me because I'm a journaler. I love to journal at the end of the day, especially when I'm traveling. I love to, make lists of the different cafes and the different, museums that I went to. But usually when you're traveling, I mean, you're just so tired. There were so many days that I just did not log any of that information. And I'm so sad now. Had I had this, it would have just been so easy to do it in real time.
I'm with you. I went and I was in Rome and it was February, so there wasn't a line to visit the Sistine Chapel. So I got in, but you're not allowed to take photos in there. And I saw so many things I wanted to remember, and I wanted to be looking and immerse myself in the Sistine Chapel, not writing notes, not dictating to myself. So I wish I had a Senstone then, and I could have just sort of floated into those pictures and those oil paintings.
Absolutely. And Tina, I mentioned my grandmother. Talk to me a little bit about, the use of this for, people of all ages.
Yeah, so I'll start with older people and then move to kids and all the way through that. So my dad was 56 when I was born, and he sure could have used a Senstone. When he got into his 80s, he would go to a cafe and he would want to explore. The man was just an adventurer. He traveled all around the world, and that's how I met my mom, traveling. So he would go to a new cafe, and then he wouldn't remember where he parked his car. So then he'd have to go to the cafe's phone, call my mom, and my mom would have to come down. And I think if he had a Senstone, as soon as he got to the cafe, he'd be able to say, he's at Hawthorne and 5th Street at Cafe Bourget. And that can then automatically go and be paired with the Notes app. And then it can be shared could have been shared with my mom, and my mom would know, okay, I know exactly where he is. That way, if there's not a phone there, he could have just instantly shared, where it was. And I have to tell you, my dad's technical, but opening up a smartphone was not his favorite thing. There's too many pieces to the puzzle for that. So I think the Senstone is ideal for people with memory issues, but also, and this is the best part, you mentioned your grandmother. So imagine us getting together at your grandmother's birthday, and she has her grandson, her grandbaby on her lap, and she's telling stories. And it's the most memorable stories, and you're like, gosh, how come she never writes down those stories? And grandma says, I never write down my stories. You have to listen to them. Well, if she had the Senstone wearing them, we could capture those stories in that moment when they're her freshest, when they're triggered by seeing her family, when she's triggered by seeing her son, and she tells, oh, I remember a time that you were on the sled and you fell off. Those are kind of things that happen instantaneous. Maybe while she's gardening, maybe she's an adventurer herself and she's working on her little MG Roadster, right? And she can immediately remember a story in her 20s when she was flying down the roads and she was going after it and she was on the Alpine, or when she was skiing. Those are things don't happen when you say, okay, grandma, sit down at the kitchen table and tell us about your life. So I think the Senstone is great for, if you're going to get Ancestry.com, get your grandparents a Senstone to go with it. And then I would say for children, it's great because they're able to start capturing their observations before they learn how to write. So they can share with you the world they see. How many times do we say, oh, I wish I could see through my kids' eyes and see what they're seeing? Well, now you can. They can share their observations, and they can do it in real time because, as you know, kids are like puppies. As soon as there's a squirrel, there's a new idea. So you can capture those ideas, or they can capture those ideas when they're thinking about them. And then I would say the next area is going to be teens who have a voice, who have something they want to say, who have a poem they want to, instantaneously capture so that they can remember that. It may be something that's happening while they're camping with their friends. It may be something when they're walking by themselves in the gentle rain. And then you have, your workers, all of us that go to work every day. We can take this into our jobs. We can have our meetings captured. We can have our ideas that we've shared. And then here's something that I'm sure you get as well as I do. You're talking to an audience and you look at their eyes and they were inspired by something you said. And then after the presentation, you go away and you're like, what was it that I said that was so inspirational, that moved the needle, that got them to act? Mm. Now with Senstone, you capture that and you can go back and go, okay, that's what I said. That's what moved the needle. That's what drove them to action. And I think that's sort of the age range right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And kind of speaking of work, I mean, are there any, particular professions that really benefit from using the Senstone?
I would say, and from my own personal experience, it's those professions where you want to stay engaged with a client, a customer, a colleague. As we all know, eye contact helps people feel connected. And we certainly know in this day and age what feeling disconnected is. And it's important that we are able to share our emotions. We are looking at them. We show that they matter. And if we're attuned to looking down and we're taking notes, or if we're turning away looking at a computer, we're not engaging. We're not really actively listening. We're listening to take notes, but not listening to understand who that person is and what matters to them. And so I'm looking at people who come to me all the time who say, we love Senstone, and they're coming from the real estate industry. In the real estate industry, they're going between showing houses, and they have to negotiate deals. They have to change the numbers and the offer, but they don't always have pencil and paper. They're walking to their next open house. So they can capture what was said with the Senstone. They can capture the new deal, the new numbers. They can capture something special about their customer or their client. They can say, oh yeah, they actually have 2 golden retrievers. They need a backyard, right? And that may have been something that slipped the mind of the customer at the time. The customer may not have talked about their dogs. Now it's like, no, we have dogs, so they have to capture that. Also, if you have a small medical practice, it's going to be wonderful if you're a clinician. A pediatrician is going to be able to keep eyes focused, both hands engaged with the child, not taking notes, not turning away from the child, and the child puzzled, absolutely puzzled by why you're talking into a computer. But you're here and you're engaged with that child. The other areas that obviously most beneficial, anytime you're interacting with a customer or colleague in a counselor type role, whether it be a life coach. I myself love consultancy, and you go in and every 6 months to a year, you have a new client, right? And you're going to have to understand and download all that information from that first meeting so you remember it. Because how many times when you meet a new client, you're going to get a meeting with, let's say, the CEO, right? You may get everyone else, but not the CEO. So the 15 minutes you get with the CEO, you want to make sure you've captured everything and you're engaged and you're looking at them so they remember you. They don't want to remember you as the person who looked at their notes. They want to remember you as the person who looked them in the eye with confidence that had something to say. And you can do that with Senstone.
Absolutely. I mean, that reminds me of, my time as a journalist and working, out in the field. There were so many people that I met, so many interviews that I did. And I always had, my head down, writing my notes or typing them into my phone and just losing that eye contact and that personal connection. The other thing too that, would have really been so useful had I had the Senstone is that, I oftentimes was working in the car, driving from story to story, location to location, and having to write my scripts on the go. And didn't have the Senstone, was using my phone, and it was dangerous. I was on 2-lane highways with one hand on the wheel, speaking into my smartphone, trying to, think about what my script was going to be. And had I had this, a wearable device that's just on me at all times, I mean, it just would have totally changed the way that I did my job. I love that.
When you turn 16 and get your driver's license, get a Senstone with it. Yeah. Stay safe when you drive. That is so important. The last weekend I went hiking, and I went hiking in the redwoods, and it was such a beautiful day. And I looked up and I saw the blue sky and I saw the redwood trees, and I couldn't wait to start my hike. And I was on the floor of the forest, and I had all these wonderful smells. And thank goodness I had my Senstone with me, because I was able to capture what I was feeling in the moment, capture the fragrances. I was able to smell the salty moss and the sweet honeysuckle and the wonderful soft lavender. And then I hiked up a little further, and I actually heard a bullfrog. And I said, bullfrog, there has to be water nearby. So I went on a journey and a venture off the track to find where this water might be. And I found a wonderful creek. And I just sat there and I thought, well, let me journal a little bit. Let me journal about my experience right now. And then I continued up, and I was at the top of the hill. And then I started my trek down. And I ran into 2 women who were riding horses. And immediately, as I stood there, the woman said, could you step to the side? My mare is skittish. And I just looked around and I thought, oh my gosh, they're on a trail a little more than 2 feet wide with 2 1,800-pound horses. One is skittish. There's rocks jetting out. It's very steep incline. It's a switchback of turns. How are they doing this?
Wow.
And she must have had the same thing, because she said, what's your jewelry? I love what you're wearing. And I told her it was a voice recorder, and I explained how it could work. And she says, I have to have one. And I said, why? What reason would you want it? Tell me, please. I want to know. And she said, I want it as a trail marker. She said, I keep both my hands on the reins of my horse, navigating this narrow incline and decline. And at the same time, I could mark where I've been. My friend and I, we like to go off the beaten path and find new trails for our horses. We just don't like doing the same thing over and over. We want a new experience. And so it would be very helpful if we could mark the trails. And at the same time, and I loved this, she said we could save the battery on our phones for GPS in case we get in a jam. And we're not opening it up. We're not having to take pictures. She can't take pictures. She has both hands on the horses. And I so got that. I'm like, okay, here I am hiking. I have one hand has my water bottle. The other hand has my COVID mask. And every time you have people approach, you have to quickly mask up. It's the courtesy of the hike. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but I want to capture what I'm experiencing now. Thank goodness, all I have to do is tap and speak, and I can capture my journey. And I'll be able to share that when I get down from the trail instantly with my friends, so they can know what I experienced. So if they want to go hiking in the area, they'll know what they will experience.
Yes, I love that story. I feel like that is such a testament to, just how many different people can use the Senstone, and how many, there's so many different contexts in which you can use it, whether you're in the boardroom or you're on a hike with no Wi-Fi, or you're on horseback going down a steep trail. You can use it to capture your personal experience, and also use it, like you said, for safety purposes, to keep yourself safe. So really personal and practical uses. Tina, we are just at b8ta, we're so lucky to be partners with you. Tell me a little bit about why it was a no-brainer for Senstone to partner with us at b8ta.
Well, I have been a customer of b8ta for a long time. And the reason I love b8ta as a customer is I get to go in and play. I'm the person who likes to sample food. I'm the person who likes to touch things. I like to go in and take apart the clock, right? I like to know how things work. I like to touch and I like to feel things. And even when I'm online, I can go there and there's like right now, I can watch you and I can experience all the different products there and see what's great about them. So I thought, okay, if I love b8ta as a customer, I love their values, I love how they take care of their customer, they're probably going to take care of me as a partner the same way, and you bet. So when I agreed to bring our product into b8ta, you guys onboarded us so well, and it just made everything easy. We were up and running fast, and you put us in touch with the customer. You made it so accessible for us to help learn about them. And that's really for us a critical piece of this. We are inviting customers to share with us their experience so that we can make the Senstone Notes app better, more fantastic. I mean, I think it's 99.9% perfect, but tomorrow I might think, oh no, we have a ways to go. Every different day when I just think we've met our bar, customers share something more and I'm like, yes, we can do that. We can do that. And I get together with our CEO and I'm like, this is what the customer wants, you know, and I'm an advocate for the customer. That's what I'm here for. And I love hearing from them. And b8ta allows for that to happen.
Definitely, yes. I love that customer-centric approach, and we definitely align with that. Our customers, are really looking for what's new and what's next. And we've talked about this kind of resembling the Star Trek comm badge. It feels very futuristic, and again, so great for our customers because they're always looking for the latest in technology. So, what can we expect from Senstone in the future?
Beam me up, Scotty. No, I have watched every episode of Star Trek, and I'm an Asimov and Roddenberry fan. So yes, I'm kind of a geek, right? And that's immediately when I first saw it, I went, I have to have it. I ran into Nazar having coffee, and I said, "What are you wearing?" And it looks like the Star Trek badge, and he goes, "Yeah, let me explain how it works." And I went, "I have to help you guys," and that's how we started the beginning of our path forward. So what's the future hold? Well, the future holds a couple of interesting things in the short term that you guys can expect. We're going to enhance the app. We're going to make it so that the app, and I think this is critical if we look back at the older person and the younger person. It's as soon as that you pair the Senstone with the Notes app, it will have some presets to auto share with key people. So let's say you have an older person who's a diabetic and they just talk into the Senstone and they're saying, I have a reaction. There's something going on in my sugar levels not right. It's automatically paired with the Senstone on the device app that is very close to it. And then those notes are automatically sent maybe to a care team or to a family member. And they can also say which restaurant they're at, and someone can come pick them up or attend to them, or they can call the restaurant and get one of the wait staff. So I think that's great for older people. For younger people, again, that automatic sending. Your kids out, they swore they knew how to get home and walk 2 blocks by themselves, and suddenly they're standing there and they can just talk into it and say, I'm in front of the pink house. I'm in front of the pink house. And it's automatically sent to the mom, and the mom goes, okay, let me go out and walk down the street, and oh, there you are, you're in front of the pink house, right? So I think those are some critical uses of it. We're also going to see, again, like I said, we'll eventually have 12 languages, so we're starting to work on our additional languages now. And here's again where I invite customers to go ahead and share with us our ideas. Your ideas matter. You as a customer matter. We want to hear from you, and we read everything. So if you have a feature that you want introduced in that app, you let us know and we'll work it into the prioritization, right? We'll get back to you. We'll help you be the tester for it. You're helping us create the future of this. So thank you, customers.
Great. Love that so much. And Tina, we at b8ta, we're just so thrilled to be on this journey with Senstone. Can't wait to see, all of those new features rolled out. Thank you so much for taking the time to tell us more about the company today and about your personal experience using the Senstone as well. And like I said, I am a huge fan. So thank you. Thank you to the team at Senstone for creating this revolutionary product.
Thank you very, very much. And we look forward to a very exciting new year for 2021 for b8ta and Senstone. So thank you.
Absolutely, Tina. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of our viewers for watching today. You can find the Senstone. It retails for $159. There are 2 colors available on b8ta.com. You can also go to senstone.io and order it there, and also do a little bit of your own research and get some more information on the product and the company. Thank you all for tuning in to today's episode of b8ta Insider. We'll see you at 2 p.m. for an episode of b8ta Unboxed. Bye.